Hyper-rational it's a really interesting saboteur. In Silicon Valley, we have a lot of people who have the hyper-rational. And what the promise of the hyper-rational is that, hey, I can help you make better decisions. I can help you make better decisions because all decisions are best made using the rational process of the mind. And so doesn't that sound reasonable? Don't all decisions and all interactions benefit most by leading them with the rational mind? And the answer is, of course not. Why? Because human beings are not rational machines. Human beings are emotional and messy. What that means is, think about the most important thing about, being a leader of a team or being a great parent or being great with your spouse. It's all in the domain of emotions. Inspiration is an emotion. Loyalty is an emotion. Trust is an emotion. Passion is emotion. The most important things in life are emotions. The reason a sunset is so beautiful is emotion. It is not logically why sunset is beautiful. So you're really missing out on the most important things in life. And most importantly, when there are relationships at play, when you're trying to inspire people, or importantly, if you're trying to resolve conflicts with people, the hyper-rational can be quite destructive in its impact on relationships. Why? Because we treat people like robots. Like, let me fix the problem. I know exactly what the problem is here, that you're feeling that way, So first of all, you don't respond to people's feelings. You don't acknowledge people's feelings. You don't show empathy towards their feelings so that they experience you potentially as cold-hearted, as insensitive, as not caring, as intellectually arrogant, which may not be at all the case, but that's how people end up perceiving you. And unless people feel their emotions heard and responded to, they're not willing to hear what you have to say. So whatever brilliant solution you have is not going to be received and acknowledged and done because people don't feel seen, connected, heard. And so what I tell hyper-rationals is, hey, you have a very important tool called the rational mind. The rational mind is a beautiful thing. And let's say that tool is a hammer, right? A hammer is a wonderful tool, right? It's like awesome tool. But when there is a nail, use the hammer. However, what if you want to paint a painting? You don't need the hammer to paint the painting. If you use a hammer to paint the painting, you destroy the painting. If you want to paint a canvas, use a brush. And that might be the brush of the empathize power. I mean, the empathize power is so critical for the hyper-rationals to develop. And of course, some of the other stuff. So my invitation to people I work with is, hey, let's keep the hammer of the rational mind, but be very conscious. When is there a nail that's a logical, rational problem to use it for? But when are all the times when the other tools are important? Let's expand your toolbox with the 5 powers of the sage. So I hope it's beginning to make sense that when it comes to a lot of people-related stuff, the hyper-rational causes you to make worse decisions, not better decisions. So that was a lie. You do not make better decisions. You actually make worse decisions by not paying attention to critical information that comes from by paying attention to your own emotions and other people's emotions. By the way, one last thing about the hyper-rational. A lot of people assume the hyper-rationals are insensitive and uncaring, but actually hyper-rationals, they can be incredibly sensitive people. It's just that they have convinced themselves they shouldn't pay attention to emotions of their own or others. So they might come across and be judged as insensitive. But some are incredibly loving, sensitive people. It's just that they don't think that's the way they should make decisions or interact with people. So they really suffer from that personally and damage their relationships.